I hate that you disguised yourself as a friend, while in the real sense you are the type that keeps me away from my true friends.
My name is Peetstar. Most people call me Peetstar Poet because that's what I'm most known for. I am a spoken word poet. Been doing spoken word as a career professionally for a while now, since 2014. And other than poetry, I do photography and video production. I'm very passionate about that. So I'm that guy who will do your family photo shoots, corporate events, and personal branding. Those are my three main areas of focus. So I'm a creative in general. I'm a believer, I'm born again, and basically that's who I am. During COVID, I got into acting. My audience knows me differently. The guys who know me for spoken word poetry, the guys who know me for photography, the guys who know me for acting, and who knows what else is, yeah. When something is for you, it will bring clarity and alignment to your life, not chaos, not confusion. My name is Peetstar. People say funny things when they say my name. Peetstar is P-E-E-T, then star. So it's a fusion of two names. Peter, which is a name my mother actually gave me, which is on the ID. And then the star part is a reminder of purpose and what I believe I'm called or I'm on earth to do. There is a scripture in Matthew 5:16 that says, "Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and give glory to God who is in heaven." So if I'm supposed to let my light shine, then a star is that icon that is a constant reminder that my job is to let my light shine. I started acting during COVID. Professionally in 2020, a friend of mine, we went to school together, the Kenya Institute of Mass Communication. I was 1 year ahead of her, and she told me, "Pete, there is a gig coming up for acting and they need somebody." I was playing the role of a guy called Caleb, and unbeknown to me, they had actually auditioned this thing like 3 times. So they had already had this character and they were shooting every time they would get a character. So even when I went on set, they were like, "We are hoping this is the last guy," because every time Caleb was a major character. And so it was a show called Tempted, Campus Diaries. Is a story of just campus life. You know how campus life is. I'm sure you can remember how campus life was. So I was one of those campus guys who's a geek, very funny and very brilliant, very intelligent. So guys were very receptive to it. And you know, COVID happened. It was a very hard time for artists. So at that time, there were not even events. If you remember, events were banned. Can you believe there is a time events were actually banned? So there was no photography gigs, there was no video gigs. And even if you had packages for photography, guys are like, "Come on, it's only 15 people. You know, you can't charge us like it's 1,000 people coming." So by the grace of God, like, acting began, and I was a main character for about 2 seasons. And it was airing, it was on DSTV, a couple of platforms, the show was on YouTube, and it gave me a bit of mileage and paid my rent during COVID. And so since, again, after that, I did a film, because I've done TV and film acting. I did a film called The Thought Cup, which is also like on YouTube. It's a short film, and took a bit of break after that, but it's a career I want to continue acting. So guys, I'm ready. Man, call me for those gigs, auditions, nini. I'm ready. I love acting because I find it as a chance to tell somebody else's story. I cannot be you, but in a film, I can actually be Marian. I can actually play the character of, Edu, can play and tell someone else's story who may not be in a position to do that.
So inamaanisha mlikuwa mnani discuss, eh?
I simply complimented you. I thought you'd say thank you.
Mimi ni mtu wa Islando bwana. Plus nimegrow compliments ni kama maneno tu.
I want to make an effort nikujue. I began poetry thanks to one class teacher of mine when I was in primary school in 2005, who said, "Peetstar, we have the member of parliament for this area is coming to give CDF funds to our school and many other schools, and they have chosen our school to be where the event will take place." Remember, this is Moshada, this is Shags, this place I used to go to school without shoes. People don't believe until they see my pictures. I had not even seen a microphone for the first time. The first microphone, I saw the microphone for the first time and used it. It was, back then MPs were quite a big thing, yeah? They used to travel with their sound system and everything. So I even performed using their PA system. And that was my very first time. It was in front of my member of parliament then for Kipkelion constituency called Mr. Samiruto. And that launched my poetry. It was actually my class teacher who said, "Write a poem." And so sometimes you need people to point you to what you're good at. So don't ignore people telling you, "Hey, by the way, unaweza fanya kitu fulani." listen to them, because for me it was my class teacher but I had already started loving poetry. I was one guy, when you're giving textbook in class, I would go to the table of contents and check where is the poetry, and I would be very bored if the book only had like 2 poems. Ama nikipata tu KCSE, there's a question of ushairi, automatically I know that's what I'm gonna do, because it's like 3 marks. But it was in 2014 where I was in Kenya Institute of Mass Communication, where I now fell in love with spoken word. Because spoken word poetry is a performance art. You know, you can write a poem and people read it, but essentially spoken word is a stage thing. It is meant for the stage, and I love being in front of people, and even how poetry began is a testament to that. So 2014 I wrote my first spoken word piece, Into a Perfect Place, and performed it on a couple of platforms, got invited to different media stations, including yours. I've been there, done that piece, and all the other big TV stations, radio stations. By the grace of God, 2018 I win an award for Talent to Watch. It was I think what was the award? 2018 Almasi Gospel Awards. I win an award for, you know, Talent to Watch. I think it was 2019. Same year I win an award in 2019. I win Cafe Ngoma, which was big because the most influential poet in Kenya. 2019 I also won quite some other award. I think, in fact, up until last year, 2022, when I won Spoken Word Poet of the Year at FEMA Awards. And of course, gotten a chance to perform in different platforms, KICC, Kisumu, all different places, international events as well, that are like Ghana, Nigeria, who have invited, but most of these, especially during COVID, I got a chance to do, like, you know, people are now going online virtual, and events were happening virtually, and I've gotten a chance to do a couple of those events to represent my country, to talk about mental health and issues that human beings go through, because I want my pieces to be human-centered, to reflect as to what a human being goes through, your life basically. So when I talk about mental health, it's because it's something people have gone through. When I talk about peace, and one of my most known pieces, which I wrote in 2017, was a piece called Upendo Amani Jamani, which is on YouTube. And it was telling my story of being displaced in 2007, because we were internally displaced as an IDP, and even Nakuru, which is our current home, wasn't where I was born and raised. We were displaced to Nakuru and had to start life anew. And so most people don't know about that. So I kind of use my experiences to highlight those issues. I'm still preaching a message of love, even though our home and everything we had was burnt and reduced to ashes. Because I'm like, at the end of the day, love wins. Yeah, I think it's Martin Luther King who says, darkness cannot drive out darkness. It's only love that can do so. So I still preach the message of love, peace, hope, inspiring people through my work, and hoping for a better society. That's what my poetry essentially is about, just improving the human condition, one poem at a time.
Umleavyo mtoto ndivyo akuavyo, vivyo hivyo tuifanyiavyo nchi ndivyo ikuavyo shuleni. Kidogo hali ya anga ilibadilika.
How I write my pieces, the inspiration is, I think it's different. For the fact that, first of all, I'm a kingdom poet. I believe like I'm inspired, I get inspiration. I'm not essentially my own, you know, I'm a creator, yes, but this is the main creator above who inspires me. And since my pieces are inspired by something, sometimes it's not even my story. Sometimes it's me seeing an injustice and saying, man, I need to talk about that. And you feel this heavy burden in you, in your spirit, to actually talk about it. And once you sit down to write, you don't stop. So sometimes it's different. I think every artist has a different experience. Sometimes some pieces come to you so heavily that you have to stop everything you're doing and write. There's a piece I wrote on anxiety. I think it was in maybe around 2016, thereabout, or 2017. And I alighted a matatu. I was on my way to Kericho. I alighted a matatu on my way somewhere in Salga, sat down. In 20 minutes, wrote an entire piece by the roadside, finished, and was on my way back to Nakuru, because that's how powerful it comes to you. It's the same way, like the way you feel like I need to do something, some pieces are so powerful. Or sometimes I just wake up, I'm reading the Bible, and then I start hearing something and I start writing. Or sometimes I'm just here listening to a song and words just start coming, I start speaking them in my mouth, and I realize, wait, this is something. So immediately, sometimes it's so powerful, I have to pick my phone, press a recorder, and start recording. So it is bigger than me. I think that's all I'm saying. I'm just a vessel that is trying to communicate and tell people what God wants to communicate, because it's not about me. Right now, when I remember the first piece I wrote in 2014 called The Perfect Place. Sometimes I listen to your piece, I'm like, "Ni mimi niliandika hiyo piece kweli?" I kid you not. And that piece inspires me. And that's how I know I'm not really the origin. There is something greater than me. There is someone greater. There is a higher power than me. And all I am doing is just submit to that power and bring to people whatever he wants me to communicate. And I try that as much as I can. Ati kama God angekuwa data bundle, probably angekuwa unlimited, na hizo network zingine zote by default zingekuwa limited. So kama una sub God unlimited, mbona unajilimit? Ni kama kuswitch off data na uko kwa wifi zone. Ni kama kustruggle kuandika a short text na uko na unlimited text. Ni kama kuringia watu tunalipia mamako rent, and in the real sense ako supposed kuwa naishi kwa mansion memjengea. Ama ni kama kusikia samaki akisema tena anasikia kiu, and yet anaishi kwa bahari. So heavily speaking, I'm a star. They call me poet Peetstar, and that's why I mean Star. And we will be right back after the break.
Sana Maulana, kama sukari itakuwa nikidanganyana tena sana, kwa sababu sini haya mapenzi sana na sukari inaweza kuniletea diabetes.
Welcome back guys, my name is Peetstar Poet and you're watching Millennial on the Move.
Lakini kila mara huyu kijana akiangalia jamii kwa macho na sura ya upendo, kwa macho na sura ya upendo, anaona Karaoke na Atieno wakivishana pete, anaona Wamboi akikula samaki na Odhiambo akikula githeri, anaona Kamau akihamia Kisumu na Okinda akihamia Nyeri, anaona
Went to school. Since I was in primary school, for some reason, I think because I fell in love with public speaking, I've won, I think my first certificate actually won in festivals was for public speaking and nothing else. And so that continued to make me feel like I want to do journalism. I wanted to be a news anchor so bad. I wanted to be a presenter. You have no idea. I would grab a newspaper just to read news. Just to read that story on the newspaper like I'm reading news, or pretend I'm interviewing somebody, because I really love interviewing people. I love hearing other people's story. I would love to sit you on this couch and ask you questions about your experiences, your aspirations, you know. So it's not just about reading news, it's about telling other people's stories. I really wanted to be a journalist, and so I went to the Kenya Institute of Mass Communication. For 3 years did a course in broadcast journalism, and since Kenya Institute of Mass Communication actually has a radio station called ECN Radio, I got a chance to be there for 2 years. I was doing news in Swahili for 1 year, I was doing news in English for some time, and I also had a gospel show I was doing. So I was actually doing both Swahili and English news, because I'm kinda can do both, yeah. And so after campus, I think it was very hard, and I think this is where depression I think comes in actually, because I remember my depression happened after campus. I think the pressure after campus, you know, what do you want to do, and even convincing yourself that this is a journey I want to pursue is very tough. And I remember even my folks at home sometimes got surprised, like, what do you mean you've not applied for any job? Me, I can't explain. 2014 I wrote a spoken word piece called Perfect Place. It takes off. I'm on every TV station, I'm in radio stations, I've been published in a couple of, you know, magazines and newspaper, and I'm like, actually want to do spoken word. And it was very tough, because first of all, people are like, what is spoken word? Because they didn't even know. People don't know. So I understand them by there. They're like, Pete, are you serious? We've just paid you how much money for you 3 years to study journalism, and you are what? I'm like, yeah, I want to do spoken word. Never applied for any job in the media. Kept doing spoken word. I think I did it for about 2 years, and then I stumbled into photography right after having a tough time with depression. I was trying to focus my energy on something else beyond poetry, and fell in love with photography. I think I'm just a creative, I'm an artist, and it was very tough having that conversation or even being in that space. I actually remember in 2018, at the same time I was living with my siblings, and I realized, like, maybe my journey is different. I respect people who have jobs 8 to 5, but at that time this is not what I wanted to do, and so I actually moved out. You just go stay on my own, and figure this thing, because I was having a hard time convincing anyone or trying to prove to you that I'm already having a hard time with myself, trying to tell myself that I'm gonna do this thing and I wanna be remembered for as a spoken word artist. And people didn't actually get it until, you know, the media station started having me. I'm on every media station doing spoken word poetry. I'm on major events. I'm the featured poet. When people are doing I'm marking the World Day Against Human Trafficking, I'm the featured poet. And companies are now calling me to help tell their story. It was very tough, and I don't think anyone's journey is any less easier. I don't think this is unique to poets. It's to you journalists, it's to people who do amazing work, who go 8 to 5. Every journey has its challenges, and it just happened that mine was also tough. And by the grace of God, I managed to maneuver that. And yeah, I think 4 or 5 awards later, some people get it. But now I understand what the assignment is to use my platform to be a voice to the voiceless, to inspire humanity. I know there are guys who healed from depression simply because of my story, and simply because of the spoken word pieces I've written on mental health called Mental Warfare. It has inspired. I have people who tell me anytime I'm bored at work, I go to YouTube and I watch your piece, Mental Warfare, and you have no idea. And these are people who are parents, who are older than me, and so my work, I know, speaks to younger guys, speaks to teenagers, speaks to the youth, speaks to parents, speaks to people who are old. I have somebody who listens to my work who is 70 years old. She loves it, she listens to it, she knows my work. And so I'm really inspired to just see that what I'm doing in a small way is impacting people's lives, and I want to do that more.
A man is not an island of himself, they say, but you showed me that a man can actually be an island of himself. And it is only by grace, yes, it is only by grace that I even get to be here.
You have to be faithful to your assignment, no matter how tough it gets. I think if all of us decided to choose a path just because it was easy, we will not accomplish much. Yes, it was tough, yes, it was depressing and all that, but I'm glad I overcame.
I'm dedicating this award to every person who is struggling with a mental illness, who has battled a mental illness, or any person who is in a place who doesn't know how they can come out.
My biggest lesson really is, do not give up. Do not give up. The best moments of your life can be after your toughest period, your toughest challenge. Your best moment in life, the best experiences in your life could be after that mountain of challenge that you are staring at and thinking you can't overcome. Because to be really honest to you, the best life I have had have been after I overcame depression. I kid you not. The best wins I've had in life, in my career, in poetry, personally, my best moments have been after I overcame depression. So these challenges sometimes, come and they disguise themselves like, hakuna vile una manage. But it comes to you like that so that you think there's no life beyond it. It's to block you from the possibility that actually on the other side is something better than you've ever experienced. And that's a reality I'm living. It's not some imagination I have. It is true. Your best life can be on the other side. So don't give up. Even when you don't feel like you can live another day, just live one day at a time. One day is enough. One day is enough. Just face one day at a time. It is enough. Don't think about kesho sana, next week, 10 years from now. Because you actually also don't have an idea who you could meet a year from now, what job you may get, how it's going to influence your life. You have no idea. So the fact that you have no idea means you need to be there to find out. So don't quit.
Niliwaza nikawazua, nikatafakari nikatafaruku, hisia zangu tamaa yangu zikanisumbua, zikanipelekea kuyaishi ya ulimwengu. Nilichokosa nilidhani ni uhuru, kumbe nilijawa ukalulu. Virago vyangu, sehemu ya mali ya baba yangu, urithi wangu nilichukua. Safari niliondoka japo awali nilikuwa nimeokoka, na mara hii nilikata kauli, kwani iko nini? Naweza na naenda kuyaishi ulimwengu na pilipili usio ile ya kuwashiani.